Okay, it's a Prince from a Princess podcast, and I have a real straight up question to ask white people. What's wrong with you people? Like seriously, what's wrong with you? What goes on in your minds as a nation? Like the concept of domination doesn't make sense to me. You wanna dominate a people. Like 20 people wanna dominate 1,000 people. Okay, cool. Now this has worked in the past, but I think in the long run it became a problem because people overcame slavery, they overcame apartheid and all that stuff, you know? They overcame. Now, if I was being overcome like that with everything, I'd just say, you know what? Let's just be fair. It's 50-50. Stop messing with stuff. White people don't. First, they came to Africa and then they saw like all the gold and the diamonds and everywhere, and people were rich. Africa was and still is the richest country. But funny enough, the people of Africa are poor. Why? Because of the white man's domination. If they don't dominate you physically, they'll dominate you mentally. And they'll dominate you financially. And that's what they're doing. And now, the problem with Africa or non-white people is that they're easy to influence and to bribe, you know? And that's very bad because if you're a leader and you're that easy to intimidate into taking money to owe me when you don't need to, then you shouldn't be a leader. You're in the wrong place because true leaders know when to say no and when to say yes. And being coerced to make your country poor so you can make yourself a little bit rich and make other people a whole lot richer, then you're an idiot. All African leaders who've done this, you're idiots. Just know that you're idiots. That have done it and are still doing it, you're idiots. Because with the little money they give you, you can enrich yourself more in your country simultaneously. But no, you decide to enrich others by selling all your country has. So you're an idiot. That's like having a wife and letting your neighbor come sleep with her for money. You know? That's supposed to be your queen, your jewel, your everything. But you're letting other people come take advantage of her because they can give you a little bit of money. Basically they're coming to take her and pimp her to the world. And you're like, it's okay, give me $50 and they'll make 50,000 of your wife. That's idiotic. You're an idiot. I'll say it again. You're an idiot. Because Africa doesn't necessarily need other countries. They don't need all these loans and whatever. They're countries that have overcome without these loans and all this rubbish that they think we need. And we've had real leaders and they've killed them using the people around them to kill them. See, as a leader, you also have to know who to keep around you and who not. Because it's like a garden. Whenever you let your grass grow too long, snakes gonna come through and they're gonna bite you. And you don't want that. So in any case, we need real leaders. Now, here's what they did in the past. Why we have so many deserted areas in Africa, China, and wherever. Let's talk about Ethiopia. Remember in the 90s, 80s, Ethiopia was seen on TV as one of the poorest countries in the world. When it was under the rule of King Haile Selassie, who apparently is a descendant of King David. Now white people are disputing that. How can he be the descendant of King David? King David was white and he's black. No, King David was black. So was Jesus, who was Mary, etc., etc. Let's not get into that right now. So in any case, they came to King Haile Selassie in Ethiopia and said, we want this, we want that. They said, no, I can't give you any of this. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll teach you a lesson. And they came with nuclear bombs and whatever and bombed the place, and most of it became deserted. It became a desert. And it became uninhabitable. It couldn't become a habitat for people. Couldn't become a habitat for animals or whatever. So people there were dying of hunger, and it was not good because we saw that on TV, and people around the world. So Africa, and assume all of Africa was like that. No, it wasn't. You know, which is what the white man wanted it to be. Black people must suffer because black people or Africans to say must suffer, and they must come take everything that's making Africa rich. They must gain from Africa, and the Africans must get nothing. You know, if you think I'm being selfish, then, or if you think I'm being imaginative about their selfishness, then I don't know. But that's the truth. You can go through the books or whatever, whatever. Just like in South Africa, you know, when black people were doing the mining and the white people were gaining, you know, black people they got paid, but not as much as the white people that were kind of working there. Not as much as the actual companies that came to Africa with nothing to come get everything, you know? And it's still happening with the mines even today. Tell them to nationalize and they know who to bribe, and it goes back to square one. You know, that's why Africa can't grow with leaders that don't know why they're leading, because they don't know how to lead. You know? A leader always does what's right, no matter what. No matter how much it hurts, no matter what. That's why some leaders were willing to die for their beliefs. That's why so many leaders were killed for their beliefs and upholding them. You know? So these people came and bombed Ethiopia, and people couldn't live there anymore, couldn't plant anything. And if you can't plant anything, you can't eat. You know? Which is the same thing that happened, I think, in China. You know? They came and bombed China, Pearl Harbor, or whatever. And it became a massive desert. Now, currently, the Chinese people have figured a way to change that back. Okay, because what happens is when you drop a nuclear bomb or atomic bomb in a certain area, it kills everything, the ability of the ground to produce anything, and it becomes unlivable to a certain degree because it has a lot of radiation. Now, that lasts for anything between 50 to 200 years, I think, maybe even more. You know, so I think that period has passed, and now Chinese are turning like the desert into habitable ground by planting there and watering there, and it's working. I think even Africa should try the same after they get like real proper leaders that know how to say no and know how to be considerate of their people. By people, I mean Africans. You know, I'm just wondering, you know, if Africans decided like throughout all of Africa, and the Chinese and whoever, all countries with that are not which that are non-white originally, like Africa and China and you name it, America, South America, decided that okay, all white people should go back home because they keep telling everybody, they keep telling black people in America, go home. You know, they keep telling black people everywhere basically, go home, go home. They see the Chinese in America, tell them to go home. Tell everybody to go home, but shouldn't they lead by example? Shouldn't they go home to wherever is it they came from, to Britain, to Dutchland, wherever they came from? Shouldn't they just show us how to go home, and then we will go home? You know, I think they should go home. They all should go home. I'm sorry to be honest, but if you're gonna tell me to go home in my own country, shouldn't you the one that makes space because you don't like being around people like me? You don't like being around me? Shouldn't you go home to wherever it is you came from? I mean, people have come to Africa and then they give Africans names. They treat them like animals, whatever, whatever. Yet they came to them. You know, nobody asked you to come to Africa. You all came and stole people, and then you guys come to Africa and be rude to us, call us animals or whatever, whatever, and you steal from us. All this stuff. Why? And then you tell us to go home. Maybe it's time you went home. You know, because you apart from steal from us, you have no reason to be here anymore. That's the only reason you came to steal. Basically, you've done everything that they say the devil does. You know? The devil, they say when he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. You came to destroy Africa. You've killed Africans. You've stolen from Africans. Isn't that ironic? So you're pretty much the devil. You represent the devil in your action. You use the Bible to blind us. And you told us our beliefs were not valid. And you stole pretty much all of our technology. You know, you went throughout, or technically I should say it's our fault in a way, because we came and went out through the world. You know, the first people to actually travel the world or go around the world were actually black people. They went to Spain, they went to wherever. And basically we opened your eyes. And then you saw that as an opportunity to take advantage of other black people. You know, we taught you how to build. We taught you how to do medical stuff. We taught you how to do everything. For people that don't know, right, the first cesarean was performed in Africa. You know, when the white man came and they saw that and they went to go try that in their home or in their country. You know, after they took enslaved women to try this on them. They say, we're going to try this on the black woman because she cannot feel pain. She's resistant to pain. She's strong. She can take this, you know. So they took pregnant women and performed cesareans on them. Most of them died, you know, because they stole the procedure but didn't thoroughly understand it, you know. So they tried it, and then so many black women died. And in the long run, they realized that the fact that black women could not feel pain was rubbish, because they said they couldn't feel pain because they were animals. So they could cut them without any kind of drugs. You know, they just cut them straight just like that. So babies and a lot of women died through that very painful process, because they eventually realized that not only can women feel pain, but they feel more pain than other women. So they did that. You know, just a small piece to saying what we've been through and probably are still going through. You know, I mean, black people, we have done so much for these white people. Isn't it time we do some things for ourselves? And isn't it time we take care of ourselves, for ourselves and our kids? And our kids, I mean, for our future. We have given these white people way more than we should have. White people, you know I'm not lying. We have given you. We fought in your wars. We let you steal all our gold and minerals in Africa and throughout other countries. And you've taken. You know? Some of you have never said you're sorry. But you're not sorry. Even if you did say you were sorry, you're not, because you're still doing it. You're stopping it and leaving and letting the Africans and whatever nation is out there enrich themselves. Would actually show you're sorry, but you're not sorry. No, you're not sorry. You don't care. You know? This is just too sensitive. I think for now we'll just leave it there. That white people, y'all are messed up. Black people, open your eyes. Take care of yourself. It's a Prince from the Prince's podcast. Thanks for listening. Peace.